All right, so in this lesson, we will represent and perform reflection. So we've been doing transformations, which are changes. So we transform by dilating, we transform by translating, now we're transforming by reflecting, okay? So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to label these in purple. So we have 2, 1, which was our original A, so that was A. And then B was 4, 5. And C was 6, 2. And we are changing these to A prime. So A prime is 2, -1. B prime, B prime right down here is 4, -5. And C prime, well, you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this color. It's already red, so I'm gonna make it red. So A prime was 2, -1. B prime was 4, -5. Or is 4, -5. And C prime is 6, -2. Cool. So let's try to figure out what happened. So I want you to think about it like this. We had this pre-image right here. Look at this. Look at this beautiful shape. Beautiful shape. And then you see this line of reflection. I want you to think about it like it was folding over. We were folding over, or like flipping it over. We were flipping this over. So now it's like the image in a mirror. You know, like in the mirror, everything's like backwards, so to speak. That's how this is. So we had X's and Y's, and then we flipped it, and it became, so the 2, the 4, the 6, the 2, the 4, the 6. They stayed the same, so we're just going to write X. But if you see, this 1 became negative, this 5 became negative, this 2 became negative, or this 1 became the opposite, -1. This 5 became the opposite, which is -5. So we'll symbolize it, we'll represent it using -y. Just be careful. Do you see how this 1 becomes -1, 5 becomes -5, 2 becomes -2? If this was a -1, it would become a +1. If this was a +5, this would be, -5, then this would become a +5. If this was a -2, then it would become a +2. This negative doesn't mean it becomes negative, it means it becomes the opposite, like sign of what it was. Okay, so let's do it again. So here's my pre-image, A, B, C. So same shape, ABC. And this time we're flipping it across the y-axis, and we get A prime, B prime, C prime. So A prime, B prime, C prime. So A prime, so instead of being at 2, 1, it's at -2, 1. Instead of 4, 5, it's now at -4, 5. I'll make that a little bit more distinguishable. Instead of 6, 2, it's -6, 2. So we originally had X's and Y's, and then we flipped it. Well, I'll make that a little. We flipped it, and it became, we can represent this new one as, see the 1, the 5, the 2 stay the same, but those are the Y's, right? Those are the Y's. Let me just highlight that right here, and let me put that over here so y'all can see. Okay, so the Y's, the 1, the 5, and the 2 are the same. So the Y's, I'm going to write as just Y. But the X's, the 2 became -2, the 4 became -4, the 6 became -6, so -X. So I do want to stress that, remember, this negative right here doesn't mean it's like these will always be negative. Remember, if these were positive, they'll become negative. But if these numbers are over here were negative, then they'll become positive. Okay, so let's apply this in some ways, or use this in some ways. So we have ABC was shown below. It was reflected over the x-axis. So I'm going to draw my axis of symmetry. This is my x-axis, right? My axis of symmetry. So we're flipping over this. Flip. So if you want, the first thing you could do, well, I'll just put pre-image. Oh. Pre-image. Is I would label these. So I'm just going to do A, B, I'll use purple. A, B, C. And then I'm going to flip it over. Now, if you look at this, when I flip it, it's just going to be opposite. So you see how this is A, like up, like there, it's 2 away from the x-axis. It's going to be 2 away right here. A prime. So you see how this B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from the x-axis? Well, I just need to go 6 away from the x-axis. You see how the C is 3 away from the x-axis? I need to go 3 away from the x-axis. And this should be my reflection. Well, this is my reflection. Now let's see if we can do this correctly. So X and Y, X and Y. And then it's going to flip over the x-axis right here, x-axis. And it will make, so if it flips over the x-axis, the rule is it x negative xy or x negative y? Well, this is, let's just look at the other page, because we're going to have these memorized anyways, right? I mean, I know it, but I want to show you. So you would look here, over the x-axis, over the x-axis, x-axis. That means it's x negative y. So x negative y. I would do that first. And that makes sense, because for the A, you still go 2, 2, but 2, negative 2. So the x's are the same, but the y's changed. So I'm going to label these points A, B, C. A was 2, 2. B was 2, 6. And C was 5, 3. Now I'm going to flip these over the x-axis. So the x's stay the same. The x's stay the same. I'm going to do it like this. So the x stay the same. So it should be 2, 2, and 5. But the y's are the opposite. So instead of 2, I put negative 2. Instead of 6, I put negative 6. Instead of 3, I put negative 3. Now let's see if these match up. Oh, I forgot. A prime, B prime, C prime. So 2, negative 2. 2, negative 2. Good. 2, negative 6. 2, negative 6. Good. 5, negative 3. 5, negative 3. Okay, it's good. Okay, so I can represent, we are reflecting, so I can represent the reflection. Oops. And we'll just leave it like that. The reflection. You know what? I'm a stickler for something like that sometimes. The reflection is the new one. So reflection. Algebraically using the coordinates x negative y. Now when we flip it, the reflection is going to be the same size. That means the lengths are the same size, they're congruent. The angles are the same size, they're congruent. But now we're looking at the back. I'll put now looking at back. So this is the one where the orientation is different. So let's do this next one, polygon ABC. So let's label that polygon A, B, C. So to do it was flipped over the y-axis. So here's our our line of reflection. So this is our y-axis. So we're flipping like this, but this end will come over here. So it's like this goes to here, this goes over here. Okay. So purple. We have x, y's, and we are reflecting, which is a flip. And then it becomes, this is over the y-axis, right? Over the y-axis. So let's look. That is negative x comma y. Negative x comma y. And then let's go ahead and use these. So we get A, B, C. So A is -1, -1. B is 3, +5. C is 3, 1. And then we transform it. We reflect it. We get A, B, C. So A prime, B prime, C prime. So A prime. So remember, this is the x. Well, let's start with the y's. The y's are the same. So -1, 5, 1. -1, 5, 1. But the x's are opposite. So see how this is a -1? It becomes a positive. This is positive. It becomes a negative. Let me see. I can write that a little better. See how it was positive? Now it's negative. I can't even write this right. Okay. I can do it. Okay. And let's try these out. So 1, -1, 1, -1. Through -3, 5, -3, 5. And -3, 1. And we can connect them to the triangle. Oops. And this is our reflection. Oh yeah, I labeled it there. So I can represent the reflection using the coordinates -x, comma y. The reflection is the same size, which means the lengths are congruent, the angles are congruent. Remember, we flipped it, so we're looking at the back. This one's different. This is where we're looking at back. Looking at the back. Now we're looking at the back. We're looking at the other side of it. Different perspective, right? Well, we're looking at the back of it. So, cool. That's it. Thank you.